Welcome to 8th standard Social Science textbook questions with answers. Chapter 3 Sindhu Saraswati Civilization. Exercises. First main, answer the below questions in one sentence. How old is Rigveda as on today? As on today, Rigveda is 5000 years old. Which are the sapta-Sindhu rivers? Sindhu, Vitasta or Jhelum, Askni or Chenab, Parushni or Ravi, Vipasha or Bias, Shutudri or Sutlej, and Saraswati. These are the Sapta Sindhu rivers. In which year was Kalibangan region discovered? In 1917, Kalibangan region was discovered. Which year were the ancient civilization traces found in Harappa? In 1921, the ancient civilization traces were found in Harappa. What are the symbols or pictures found on the seals of Sindhu civilization? Brushaba or bull, the leaf of the sacred fig tree, or people or Ashwatha, yoga, namaskara postures. Which town was the primary center for sea trade? Lothal town was the primary center for sea trade. List out the tribes of Vedic period. Bharata, Puru, Anu, Dhruyu, Turvasha, Yadu. Which site had the system of rainwater harvesting? Dholavira site had the system of rainwater harvesting. Who has said that Aryan migration theory is wrong? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has said that Aryan migration theory is wrong. The dimensions of towns of Sindhu Sarasvati civilization match the mentions of which literary work? Kautilya's Arthashastra. Second main, answer the below questions in 3 to 4 sentences. How were the traces of Sindhu Sarasvati civilization found? Around 1921, technicians at Punjab's Sindhu Valley discovered some Harappan sites when they were laying rails. They appeared as mounds made of best quality of earthen bricks. They used these bricks as sleepers for rails. They found several more such buildings in the due course of time, after which the archaeologists took up ground research. The archaeologists were convinced that those buildings were part of a town. There were similarities in the sites discovered after this with the ones discovered earlier, all round an existing town called Harappa. What are the materials items found during the archaeological excavation of Sindhu Saraswati sites? The materials or items found during the archaeological excavation of Sindhu Saraswati sites are bronze dancing doll, torso of a man, swastik sun seal, Sindhu script. Explain the construct of baths of this civilization. A ground level tank can be seen constructed in another town, Mohenjo-daro. The experts have identified it as an open bath built with bricks. Precautions have been taken to ensure the structure was leak-proof. Stairs are located at two sides of the tank, which has rooms built around. Perhaps the water to this tank was supplied from a nearby well and the water was drained out after usage. Prominent people of the town would be bathing in this bath, it is presumed. Which alloys were in use in this civilization? What are their traces? Apart from the buildings, the artifacts found are mostly metal and precious stones. Beads and seals are found in large quantities. Harappan beads had demand even in the distant Mesopotamia. The technique of drilling a diametrical hole through a bed was well practiced by Harappans. Who created the myth of Arya-Dravida? In the later half of 19th century, the British resorted to divide and rule Indians on the basis of caste and religion. Arya-Dravida division was created for the sake of it. Christian missionaries first opposed and propagated that the word Dravida was indicative of a tribe. The later historians kept amplifying the idea. Third main answer the below questions in 7 to 8 sentences. How was the township construction done in Sindhu-Sarasvati civilization? Two or more divisions can be seen in Harappan towns. The western parts are smaller but elevated. Archaeologists call it fort. The eastern parts are generally wide and low-lying. They are called villages. Every division had a wall of burnt clay bricks constructed around it. The bricks were laid in an interlocking fashion which had ensured that such walls were stronger. The usage of burnt clay bricks indicates the advancement of the civilization. The low-lying space, the village, was the habitat part of the town. They were planned and built quite systematically well planned. The low-lying space, the village, was the habitat part of the town. They were planned and built quite systematically well planned houses, roads, and drains can be seen there. The houses were built with bricks and walls were strong. Generally, the houses were of one or two stories. The inner core space had rooms surroundings. The door faced the street. None of the windows were street facing though. The houses had baths, some with wells for water supply. Water availability was abundant. Every household having its own bath was a big thing back then. Towns had internal drainage system, the drains of which were built with bricks and covered with stone slabs. The drains of houses were connected to the external drains. Domestic grey and black waters were led into the external drains through these connecting drains. Question number 17 Sindhu Saraswati civilization seals show the continuity of Vaidika tradition. Explain how. The seals show still undeciphered script. They could engrave scripts on the seals even back then. Vrishabha is one of the most important figures found on seals of those times, with leaf of the sacred fig tree being another prominent figure on the seals. Several idols with different yoga and namaskara postures are also seen. Vrishabha, Shiva's vehicle, also that stands as figure of Dharma, the leaf of a fig tree, also known as Yajnavrukka, yoga, one of the Vedic aspects. All these facts point out at the continuation of Vedic tradition since the Sindhu Saraswati civilization times. How was the social system during the Vedic age? Vedic times had Brahmana and Kshatriya Varnas based on several characteristics and lifestyles. Those who were mainly into learning and teaching were Brahmanas, while the ones who were responsible for the protection and nurturing of society were Kshatriyas. The common people were called Vaishya. Vaishyas were those who were into trade and commerce. Shudras were those who were into physical work at every level. How were the farming and trading practices in Vedic age? Sindhu Saraswati population were dependent on farming and trading. Wheat, barley, and pulses were their primary crops. The bullock cart, modeled and used back then, is still in use in almost the same way. Hunting and fishing were also vastly practiced. Cotton farming was done to manufacture textiles. Since several of the towns of the era were situated on the banks of river, it is obvious that they were expert in irrigation, which helped in their farming. They were involved in rearing of cattle, including bull, cow, buffalo, sheep, goat, and poultry. Oxen were used to plough the fields. Commerce and trading were equally important to them. Urban centers used to trade with countryside and foreign nations. Balochistan, Saurashtra, and Deccan regions were prominent among them. Several seals found in Mesopotamia indicates the close ties with close ties that existed between the Sindhu Saraswati and Mesopotamian civilization.